this afternoon we have Greece, Ireland, USA, Great Britain, France and Switzerland.
So on the far side, closest to us, Evangelia Anastasiadou and Dimitra Kontu. Kontu just 16 years of age, up in the bows. Wowza, amazing in the final.
In lane 2 for Ireland, Aoife Casey and
Margaret Cremen closest to us, and Aoife Casey behind her. The two Irish women from University College Cork.
Lane 3 for
Fast-moving Americans, Michelle Setcher in the stroke seat, and Molly Reckford behind her. The favourites to take this race, certainly on the form they've shown so far. Emily Craig and Imogen Grant in the stroke seat. The French Olympic silver medalist, Claire Beauvais in the pink visor, and Laura Tarantola behind her. Robin Dow's Swiss double here. Frédérique Boll closest to us, and Patricia Mertz gives a little heart pump there up in the bows.
Quite a long hold there from the starter, but the crew's away. It's quite interesting that 5 out of these 6 crews are the same combinations that raced at the Tokyo Olympics, so we don't generally see that much consistency from Olympiad to Olympiad. So all of the crews except for the Greeks racing at the Tokyo Games last year, and of course sensationally the Italians, the gold medalists, not in this final.
And am I right, is this the first time that the Americans have raced the British?
I think it probably is since those Olympics where they were 4th and 5th respectively. It was this French double who was 2nd on that day. So yeah, this time last year it was an incredibly close race at the Tokyo Olympics, but the British slightly slower starting, but now here they are getting to this fairly familiar position where we've seen these two. We've got Imogen Grant and Emily Craig. They've been really dominating these races so far this year, and they'll be pleased to have the Americans half a length behind, because like you say, they've raced everyone else in this field successfully.
She sculls so well, Emily Craig, doesn't she? A lot of winter work. The University of London, Oswald, works in Sotheby's, valuing coins. She trains early in the morning. University of London Boathouse with winter coach Maurice Hayes. Of course, Darren Whiter coaches this crew. But done so well in the double with Maddie Arlott, and then of course when Imogen Grant came back into the crew, just setting the boat up from the bows.
And we see the Americans on screen here. Molly Reckford, Michelle Setcher, 5th at the Tokyo Olympics, winning the gold medal at the Second World Cup in Poznan earlier this year. But through the first 500 metre mark, it will be the British, followed by the French, followed by the Irish, Switzerland, Greece, and that crew from the USA in 6th place. Perhaps a bit of a surprise to see them in 6th at this stage.
Yeah, I think the Americans will be disappointed to be that far back in the field. I mean, what we've seen earlier in the year is that the British tend to continue moving on the rest of the field, including this French double. Wonder whether they'll be able to do that, or whether something different will happen today, and whether the Americans will be able to launch a bit of a charge. At the moment, the Americans have held that little bit of clear water gap on the British. Let's see how this goes. Looking up, my eyes are drawn towards the Irish as well there.
They're really battling, those two Irish, Casey and Cremen. Aoife Casey, of course, daughter to Dominic Casey, who coaches this crew and who coaches the lightweight men's double sculls from Ireland. Be coming down shortly. He'll be following this race, then zipping back up to the start to follow the men's crew's final.
The Irish looking really aggressive, 38 strokes per minute, really giving it a good punch through at the finish there. But it looks like the Americans now just slowly tracking their way through those two crews in 2nd and 3rd as they pass just through the French and about to move through the Irish.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? The Irish gave it a real extra bit on the finish, quite contrasting here to this Swiss crew who are just really kind of quiet around the finish of the stroke. Very, very efficient, sitting at 36 strokes a minute.
Frederick Roll there, the 29-year-old up in the stroke seat. We saw her there from the Lausanne club, French-speaking Switzerland. It is Great Britain at the 1,000-metre mark, 3:25. That's just 3 seconds off world best time pace. Hey, that's hot, isn't it?
That is fast, but the American double beside them have held that gap. It's just a little bit of clear water. that this British double have over the Americans. The Americans are kind of fixed in there. I just wonder whether in this third quarter that gap might get smaller, or whether the British will be able to move away.
The Irish will be loving the fact they're sculling level with the French silver medalists. Beauvais and Tarantola battling with Casey and Kremen there. Finished back in the B final of the Tokyo Olympics. They've really moved on, haven't they?
And it looks like the Americans are just going to get their bow ball. You can see this fantastic drone shot overhead. The Americans maybe just edging their bow ball ever closer towards the stern of the British, but the British have gone out so bravely and they're looking so strong in the lead.
Yeah, that's the way they've been doing it in that British double, just moving away from the rest of the field. The rest of the field, as you say, they're holding just that tiny bit of clear water. We saw the stroke rates. The British are at 35. The Americans beside them 36. So you think both crews really will have somewhere to go. I wonder what will happen as we get here towards the 500 to go marker.
Michelle Setcher setting a fantastic rhythm, the 35-year-old Californian, and Molly Reckford behind her from New Jersey. Right in there every stroke of the way. France just centimetres in front of Ireland in that battle for the bronze medal. Whether they can push themselves up and get in contention for silver like they did in the Olympics remains to be seen as we enter very nearly the last quarter of this race. Great Britain sculled a fantastic race so far to lead.
As they come through the 1500 metre mark, it is Great Britain, followed by the USA, followed in third place by the French, just narrowly over the Irish, and then the Swiss just narrowly over the Greeks.
Emily Craig looked so relaxed there, didn't she? Beautiful.
Yeah. Relaxed faces, great length, great placement, very little to slow it down. As we see that British double, and that overhead shot is showing the gap. It's still pretty similar. This is what it's all about. I can't help thinking these Irish are going to have that sprint in them, and they've just got into that bronze medal position now. Up, where are they? 40 strokes a minute. The French still down at 36.
That is so gutsy from the Irish over there. Casey and Kremen on the charge through, just getting centimetres ahead of the French. Look, you can see Beauvais' face there, grits. Tarantola looks across, maybe says something more to Claire Beauvais, her partner. The French have got to move now if they're going to get a medal in this race.
And what a difference a year can make. The British leading. They were fourth in the Tokyo Olympics, just out of the medals. They're now solidly in the gold medal position, looking better and better down the track. The Americans, they were fifth in Tokyo, now in silver medal. And here come the Irish. They were in the B final, finding themselves in a bronze medal position and ahead of the silver medalists from France.
Well, Great Britain looking fantastic there at the head of the field. These positions look like they're fairly sorted unless something goes wrong in these last closing stages of the race.
The Americans in silver medal position. Great Britain coming past the crowded grandstand, past our commentary box. It is Imogen Grant and her partner there, Emily Craig, coming up to the line. Gold medal for Great Britain. Fantastic scull from them. USA in silver. Ireland, that is a sensational result for the Irish, beating the French silver medalists from the Olympics. The Swiss in fifth, Greeks in sixth place. And Jack Bowman there, Olympic silver medalist in the men's quad with those Union flag sunglasses. Just being focused on camera.
Well, fantastic celebrations in the crowd, celebrations and massive deep satisfaction in the boat, I'm sure, for Emily Craig and Imogen Grant. They've had a bit of pressure on them because they were so successful throughout the year, but they've now delivered it when it really matters. Good scull here from the Americans as well, Reckford and Sesha, but just couldn't turn it around. The British got away from them in that first 500 really, and then there was no coming back from that. And a great last 500 from the Irish.
We'll see the highlights of this race.
Fantastic slow motion shots, just how well they move together. Imogen Grant and Emily Craig, we said how they've worked in the winter. Emily Craig on the Thames, sculling through London, early mornings, out on her own and with Maurice Hayes coaching and filming her. Imogen Grant went to Cambridge University, trained with the group, rode in the 8. And then here they are, crossing the finish line. celebrating in unison as they did throughout the race. So confirmation there, your medalists: Great Britain, the United States and Ireland. French just pushed out of it, Swiss and Greeks.
Great Britain! Great Britain represented by
Reprezentantky Velké Británie Emily Craig.
Imogen Grant.